So you have something, a big announcement.
I do.
You do.
Address the rumor, so to speak.
Yes.
So after 9 years, 6 with the German group, I've decided. Here we are.
We're back to December.
December drinks with Dare.
It's I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
This has been in the making for a bit. We got something we need to tell the good folks at home.
That is address the rumor, so to speak.
Yes. So some people know what we're talking about, some don't, but we're gonna save that for the end. So we're gonna encourage people to hang around and see what we got. Cheers, buddy.
That's it.
All right. So what are we drinking?
We are drinking the Tofino, which is one of my favorites. It's a blonde ale.
This is one of my favorites too, and I almost feel like we raided like Dad's liquor cabinet because like we brought out the really good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Not the shrill we
100%.
we typically have in the past there. So
That's it.
Okay, we got some really interesting stuff going on today.
Yes, we do.
We've got. Well, I mean, what time? Usually at this time of year, we're doing our prediction video.
That's it.
So we're going to talk a little bit about 2025, and we'll talk about a little bit about what 2026 is kind of shaping up to be. You've got the most recent statistics there.
I do.
People are either going to laugh or cry when they hear them.
They'll probably cry, but that's okay.
They'll probably cry. Well, it depends what side of the fence they're on, I guess. And then we'll kind of make our big announcement here towards the end there. So no skipping ahead on the video for those looking at the chapters. We'll make sure they're appropriately labeled. So
Watch the whole video.
yeah. All right. Well, why don't we get into it? So we'll get into the predictions in just a moment, but a little bit of a summary of 2025. And I mean, you know what? If you had to use one word to describe 2025,
Is dreadful. Would
dreadful?
be the word. Yeah.
Why do you pick the word dreadful?
I'd say because you have a lot of sellers who are either really hurting from the 2022-2023 market in a need to sell situation, or also going against such a large number of people who want to sell as well. So you have people who are in a must sell position, and then some people who think it would be nice to sell. And you're all boarded up together, and then now you have buyers who, if you know it's going to be cheaper tomorrow, why are you going to buy it today?
Right.
And so now you don't have any type of, I guess, positivity coming from the buyers, and it's just, you know, the sellers want out or they want to move up and they can't unless the buyers buy, and it just feels like it's probably a dreadful situation for a lot of sellers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's good. You know, I didn't even think of the word that I would use, but as you were talking, it gave me the word reset. And I almost feel that, and you know, fully acknowledging there's been people that have been caught in the crosshairs of what the market has done in the last little while, right? Like last couple of years, since COVID, right? Which gave us things that we never saw coming in the first place, and then left us with this like very vulnerable market. You know, things kind of bounced back and forth for a while, and then what happened in the US in 2025 with the, you know, the governance change and whatnot, like has just impacted the real estate market in the lower mainland and GTA primarily. Like there's other areas of Canada that are just doing phenomenal. So whether we can blame all of that on the US or is it, you know, from where we came with COVID, but the reason that reset just seems appropriate is, are we back to where we should have been?
Pre-pandemic levels. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like prices took off, they got really wacky. And I remember the conversation at the time was, how can the average family afford to live here or get, you know, this type of house and that sort of thing? And the reality was that for a lot of them, they couldn't.
No.
Right. You know, those, you and I, our families were so lucky to have been a part of the real estate market prior to that all happening. So we got to, you know, reap the benefits and the fruits of all that happening. Look, there's, you know, we're in the millennial generation. I'm the elder millennial. You're more in the middle.
Yeah.
But you know, there's lots of people that didn't have the benefits that you and I had of being in the real estate market. So like, you know, for those people to kind of, their options are like 1 and 2 bedroom condos versus a townhome that's going to fit their family. Way different experience.
Exactly.
So maybe, you know, like often we're seeing right now, like prices, they're basically back to like pre-pandemic, and not quite, but pretty close.
Yeah. I'd say a few percentages off, maybe.
Yeah, but like, and naturally there likely would have been growth over that time, but it's pretty comparable now, right? So maybe reset is where it's at, but yours is interesting as well. Now, coming into 2026, we've always done these prediction videos. Where do we think things are going? And I think if we've learned, if nothing more, over the last couple of years, that it's not to say there's anything wrong with our predictions. Actually, quite often we're right. We live in a world where it almost seems like the joke's on us for predicting things.
100%. Because you would think you go one way and then something happens, whether it's a world event or just like you said, change of governments, and we're right back into something that's completely different or completely opposite or literally positives, negatives. Is tough to say now, man.
Well, there's people that exist in this world that can send out a tweet and change the whole world economy.
It's insane.
It's incredible. So, and as we were saying, like that might be a large reason why we're here today. So I've got my own thoughts on where I think the 2026 market's going to go. And we're going to get into those. I'd like to hear yours as well.
Yeah, fair.
But I figured I would share something from the economy department of the British Columbia Real Estate Association, because this is what I've been touting. Not to say it's gospel. I think whenever we're looking at something like this, we have to believe that this is only relevant should things continue to be the way that we know them today.
Yeah.
Should something change? Oh my gosh, there's so many things that could change.
This report goes right out the window.
Right? It just 100% goes right out the window. But I'm going to focus it primarily on like the lower mainland right now. And I'm going to keep it fairly simple in terms of what their economist, who's a very intelligent, very renowned economist with the British Columbia Real Estate Association, what him and his department kind of foresee happening. So he's gone on to say, and this is Brendan Oglinson from the British Columbia Real Estate Association, through the third quarter of 2025, so this is the November report, home sales in the Lower Mainland are 12% below a historically weak 2024. Despite faintly positive patterns developing, sales are forecasted to fall this year over year, 3.4% in Greater Vancouver and 16.8% in the Fraser Valley. So the areas that we primarily service have been impacted much heavier than Greater Vancouver.
For sure.
And it seems like nobody understands why. He goes on to say, we expect a strong recovery in 2026. Now, these numbers get me excited, thinking of where we are at today.
Yeah.
With sales growing by 19.6% in the Greater Vancouver area and 21.7% in Fraser Valley and 16% in Chilliwack. So nearly a 22% increase in sales is projected for next year.
Wow.
So, I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Now, there's people that could listen to that, that could interpret that, and they could say, great, my opportunity, my window sits next year.
Yeah.
And normally they're thinking that because they think the prices are going to go up.
Exactly.
Well, if this proves to be correct, I'm going to go on and ruin their day, because not to say the prices go down, but Brendan goes on to say in 2026, we suspect normalized market activity to drive price growth of about 2.5% in Greater Vancouver, with more modest growth in the Fraser Valley and Chilliwack, AKA less. So the whole idea of holding out for a percent, maybe 2% to put your life on hold, whatever that might be, next year might not be the year that you see the recovery you're hoping for.
That's it.
Sales back, but prices.
Yeah.
So what is your impression, your best guess as a professional real estate consultant or realtor in the province of British Columbia? What do you think is going to happen next year?
I can tell you anecdotally that it feels like a lot of people are getting excited about the spring market.
Yeah. Okay.
But there is no indicator saying that it is going to. So we're operating right now on the fact that everyone's saying that the spring's going to be nice.
Right.
It's going to be a robust market, and maybe all those sellers that took their house off the market for Christmas, they come back in the spring and they're going to have a second shot.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't happen? Like, where is the indicator saying that this is for sure going to happen?
Yeah.
I think, based on what all of the reports say, is I think we will have a slow, gradual increase into spring, with hopefully the fall being like a really nice, robust market.
Right. So you're thinking it's going to take some time, but we will see a little bit of a recovery next year. Just
I think it has to. I think we've been living in such a decline market. I'll say decline market since 2022. For 3 years, something's got to give. Something has to give.
Yeah.
Because I can't foresee that they're going to let this go for 5 years.
Right.
Just off the backs of the 2022 market, right? So
Yeah.
That's what I think. And I'm going to keep it there.
I like where your head's at, like fundamentally looking just at the macro level. We talk all the time about like the demand that's still pent up, but those people are sitting on the sidelines waiting, right? New construction stalling to sell because those people are sitting on the sidelines waiting. But there were some fundamentals that coming into this year that we certainly didn't have today either, like mortgage rates considerably lower than where they were at the start of this year.
Yes, sir.
In a much more, and actually I would argue a lot cheaper historically, especially like in the last 20 years, a lot cheaper than what they've been for a long time, except for COVID times.
Yeah.
We've got the inventory. We got like a 30-year high of inventory. You start thinking about some of these things, like we've got a ton of inventory and like mortgage rates are down, and we've got inventory that is like incredible, but the prices have come down quite a bit on some of it, right?
Yeah.
So how many more things need to happen until people start reacting to that? And I know we've talked about like months prior, people, specifically like first-time buyers, those entry-level kind of buyers, we're noticing much more foot traffic in our entry-level stuff. We're noticing much more people approaching us, needing help to buy their first home, that sort of stuff. So will that continue? I mean, that's all anecdotal, but it's certainly hard to say. But you would see some of these things that make it a really great opportunity, and there's people that are recognizing that.
Exactly.
My prediction for next year is very similar to yours. I don't know that the spring is going to be exciting. I think it'll be better than where we were this spring, because this spring was terrible. For sales volume, like across the market, like just very, very difficult. So I do think it'll be a large improvement. We're talking about a 22% increase from this report. That's coming out of a pretty nasty place,
exactly.
Right? So 22% sounds awesome, but when it's more in line with historical normals, it's just really kind of that reset getting back. Right?
Exactly.
So wouldn't that be nice when the narrative out there starts to remove those like dark clouds that loom over the idea of buying a home right now, that so many people are scared to do something, and nobody yet really understands why this perfect storm has kind of come and created itself. But when people start to recognize that opportunity, ideally they're going to start coming back to the market. And it doesn't necessarily mean the prices are going to skyrocket, but it means we're probably in for a much more healthy real estate market. So by this time next year, we're hopefully looking at significantly more sales and a market that people are encouraged by. They want to participate. It's not easy for a seller to watch the market slide down behind them or underneath their feet. And buyers don't want to do anything in a market condition like that. But when people feel like the investment is back, the assurance is back, the market is healthy, they will return. Doesn't necessarily mean prices will, but they will return. So I do feel a level of comfort in this report. I'm not an economist, so for whatever this is worth, 22% seems like a very high number.
It does.
So I'd be curious to see if that's where we're going to land and whatnot. But cautiously, I do believe that 2026 is going to be a big improvement on 2025.
And I'll second it.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right. What has happened with the stats over the last 3 and 12 months?
Yeah. So we'll do the 3 months here. So apartments in the lower mainland, still under that 3%. So sorry, still under that minus 3%. So minus 2.7 and minus 2.9. So there's still a little bit of negative, we'll say, change here. Townhomes in lower mainland, minus 2% and minus 3.6 in the Fraser Valley. And in the lower mainland for detached, minus 2.1 and minus 2.4. So we're still in and around hovering that 2 to 3% range negative. But the 1 year change, this is one that's people might get a little mad at me for.
Should we just mute this part?
Yeah, we should, right? So apartments in the Lower Mainland is minus 5.5. And in the Fraser Valley, it looks like almost minus 7%. For townhomes in the Lower Mainland, we're at minus 5.3, and in the Fraser Valley, minus 6.8. In detached Lower Mainland, minus 4.9, and in the Fraser Valley, minus 5.4.
Wow.
So we are sitting around the 6 to 7% range under.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, those are some pretty big numbers. And, you know, for those that decided to wait, you know, in certain circumstances, it made a lot of sense. Because, I mean, a year ago, they might have been work with much higher interest rates. Yeah. And obviously higher prices. So, you know, question, I guess, is for anybody that's still waiting is, I don't know.
Do you continue?
Do you continue? All right. Right.
Who knows is going to be the catchphrase for this year.
Well, yeah.
Who knows?
You and I were talking about that earlier, and I think that's one takeaway that everybody should really just generally have. And this has been a thing with real estate for forever.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
This beautiful report, it looks great, written by somebody who went to school for a long time on this very subject. At the end of the day, it's a prediction.
It is.
It's an educated prediction based on data. Okay. But it's not a crystal ball showing the future either.
Exactly.
Right. And there's been so many times and so many conversations with people this year about, you know, where we felt things were going, where things look like they're headed. And at the end of the day, we can't assume it's going to be better.
Yeah.
We can't assume it's going to be worse.
Yeah.
We can't assume it's going to stay the same. But we know without fail, one of those three things is going to happen.
Exactly.
So we can choose to look on the rosy side. We can choose to look on whatever side. But the fact of the matter is nobody knows. Exactly. Unless you have a time machine. So, which would be really cool.
So it would be really cool.
Hit us up. Yeah. So, you know, that said, the best that people can really do is act on their current situation at the time.
Yep.
Does it make sense for you and your family at this time?
Yep.
Don't assume.
Yep.
And make decisions off what it says today, not what you hope it to say tomorrow.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of people that have been burned by what they're hoping it's going to say tomorrow.
Yeah, you bet.
Right. So that's a good segue.
Yeah.
So you have something, a big announcement.
I do.
You do.
I do.
So why don't you let the good people, our loyal fan base.
I know. Well, I'll take a sip here.
Take a swig. We need something a little stronger.
So after 9 years, 6 with the German group, I've decided to pursue another career. It's been kind of one of those things that I've been thinking about. You know, when you mix something like having a family life, and this job was not the same job 9 years ago.
Right.
This was a job where people were still able to get you, but people may be able to, you know, they would say, you know what, have a weekend with your family, but it's felt like, and it's not just real estate, it's mortgage broking, it's kind of everything.
Right.
Ever since we got the iPhone in our pockets, our job became 24/7. And that's perfect for some people, and that's perfect for people who are very driven and very dedicated, and there are some great realtors who thrive off that. I needed some change. I needed kind of a little bit more to go back to my 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, a little bit more stability, because they sell you the dream of the 3-piece suit and they sell you the dream of the nice car. But what they don't show you is what you need. It's like enjoying the sausage, but not knowing how it's made.
Right.
Right. It's the long phone calls. It's the building the business for 5 years. It's the grind. It's the hustle. It's the etiquette. It's everything. And it worked for me for a very long time. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Right. Yeah. So I've decided to go kind of back to my electrical roots. So right out of high school, I ended up getting my electrical apprenticeship, did a couple years there. And then of course, life paths took me into the real estate direction. And then from there, I said, you know what? Love the job. It's just unfortunately not for me at this current time in life. So right now I'm going to go back into the trades, kind of figure out how I can get my red seal. And then there might be an option for me to come back. But right now, family time's a bit more important, being present with them as well. So that's kind of where I landed on that. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's great. You know, it's good that you have your priorities in order. It's good that you know what's important and what's best for your family. You know, you are the man of the house, right? Like,
You have to provide.
right? But it's neat. And you know what? Your priorities are not just solely focused on certain things. And you've got a young family, you know, beautiful young family. And I love that you came to that realization, because that's really cool. And, you know, we've been so lucky to work with each other over the last couple of years.
Yeah, man.
Just been a, oh man.
Oh,
Don't do this.
don't, brother, man.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. No, we'll leave it there.
Well, we're not, we'll get emotional later. We'll get emotional later.
Yeah, that's fair.
But now that the cat's out of the bag,
Yeah.
you can, I'm going to pick your brain
Okay.
on real estate.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
What is the one thing that you are going to miss about what you do? Mm-hmm. And what's the one thing you are not going to miss?
That's fair. You know, I think the number one thing that I'm going to miss is just dealing with clients. Like, that is the bread and butter of what our business is. There's incredible amount of people that we've touched over the years.
Yeah.
Call it what, maybe 2,000 transactions in your time, maybe about that, maybe 1,500 to somewhere around there. Yeah.
I don't even know. I haven't counted.
And even when I joined on with the German group, I've probably been part of probably 300-400 transactions easily. And each person came to us and said, we need help with one of the biggest things that we could possibly can. And to learn and to have all of the knowledge to be able to help them into one of the biggest purchases or sales that they had in their entire life. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah.
So that's what I really love. What I don't love here is the box that they paint us in. And that's been, you know, that wasn't necessarily one of the things that got me out of the business, but it's something that always was in the back of my mind. They said, you know, realtors are the same as car salespeople, or realtors are this, or realtors are that. And I get it. We end up in the news very quickly, and it's very easy to paint all realtors with the same brush because one person did something wrong.
Right. You know, you're saying, almost saying like you never felt aligned with like some people's perceived perception. You never felt in alignment with that, how you felt about the job. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. Like when people would come into my open house and I would be so excited just to be like, hey, this is our open house. Like, I just want to help you. So, the reaction that I got is like, you're just trying to sell me on something. No, I really just want to tell you about the house. I was wanted to be one of the people who changed the industry. And that's why I got to leave it up to you now to change the industry for us too, because I know that you got to do it for us, man. Because there's some people like me who get out, but there's some people that need to keep going. So
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, you know, that was always something I was so proud of our team, because we always, we always are trying to put people first. And that's, I don't think that's unique to us. I think that's something that is said about the vast majority of the industry. And I hear what you're saying. Like, the way sometimes that we can be treated, even based on the way that, compensation structures are set up and that sort of thing, it's just an interesting industry. And it's an industry that's so full of emotion.
yeah, it is.
Right? Like, you're getting people at just this like vulnerable state where they're making this huge decision in their life. And they've got, like for a wholesaler, as an example, they just are parting with all these memories and this place that's provided them shelter for all this amount of time, and they're trying to make like a financial decision on it.
Yeah.
Which doesn't align. It's two sides of the brain trying to talk to each other. No bridge in between. And then you've got buyers who, on the flip side, they see this vision in the future of like this place that they can raise their family, but they don't get there without crossing the financial bridge, and all they can see is dollar signs. So, so many of them treat it like it's a game. It's a lose game. Like, I need to win, so you can lose.
Exactly.
And they all cross that bridge at some point, but it takes them different times to get there. And a lot of the time we're the conduit of information and the person they rely on. But we get a lot of that emotion and
100%.
Yeah.
I made a funny joke the other day with one of actually another colleague we did a deal with recently, and I said, you know what? Thank goodness that they gave us a real estate license with a bulletproof vest, because that's kind of how I feel like at least the last 3 years have been.
Right.
2022, I was everybody's best friend.
Yeah.
2023, it's like, well, you better dock.
Yeah.
So,
well, when things are good, everybody loves you. But I mean, in the last 3 years, to your point, there's been a lot of really difficult conversations we've had to have with people.
Exactly.
Because they're using their heart, but they're maybe not necessarily, or I won't want to say you're not using their brain, but they're making a lot more out of what the heart's telling them.
Emotional rather than logical.
Yeah, exactly. And that's difficult. Like, fully respecting that. It's difficult to navigate. And that's a large part of the business, is just helping people kind of get over that emotion and whatnot. Right.
Exactly.
What are you most looking forward to? And I think
you already know the answer for this one.
Yeah.
I promised my wife the first Saturday that I got off, we are going to make some waffles. We're going to go for a family walk, and we're going to go just to the ocean and just chill.
Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't it, man? Because I don't think that we, both of us, have had a Saturday off, maybe on the rare occasion, probably in the last 6 years.
Mm.
And that's also too, because, if clients are busy Monday through Friday, the only time they get to see homes is Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And like selfishly, we try and take one day on the weekend to be with our families. So the other day we have to work.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. So that's what I promise. So I mean,
I love that.
You can text my wife and say, "Hey, was he?"
How are the waffles?
Yeah, exactly.
He burned the waffles.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh man, isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I mean, well, it is a job that you're kind of 24 hours. As much as we try and be good, you see an email or a text coming, you can't see it, and then you want to help the people. So you're doing what you can to help put them in the right position. Well, I love the idea of having waffles on Sunday. But this Saturday you're gonna be waffles, and
that's it.
But that's okay. That's the life I signed up for.
That's okay.
Your experience over the last 9 years.
Yeah.
So starting it was 2017.
Yeah.
That you got into the business.
Yeah.
And then we were fortunate to link up in 2019.
You were. Yeah.
Just watching the progression of what you've been able to do and whatnot, it's been phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You've been such a valuable contributor for our clients, and they all love you. Like I always would joke with them. I'm like, I'd be like, I think they like Adam better than they do me, because I'm like the numbers guy and like the guy that you call in when you want to you want to hammer the negotiation, and then
I'm like touchy feely guy.
You're the touchy feely guy, and like they want to go have a beer with you and that sort of thing. So
that's fair.
But you've always done such a phenomenal job for everybody that you've touched, and been very, very fortunate to have that. And actually as a business partner as well, like it's been unreal. Like, I've always known that I could rely on you.
Yeah.
I travel a lot for some of my organized real estate, volunteering roles and stuff like that. And I love that stuff. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, but you've allowed me to help me do that, which is really good. You know what? Actually, the funny thing, I was thinking about this too.
Yeah.
Is you're at a point in your life where you're actually literally your son is at the same age. And when I brought you on, when I had
that's funny.
And my son was the same age, and I was looking for more balance in my life and all that sort of stuff, and didn't want to be because one of the challenges with real estate that we haven't acknowledged yet is like you are one person. So a lot of these single operators and whatnot, like bless them, but you can only be in one spot at one time. Right. And everybody wants a little bit of your time and attention. And, even today, like, I know what your day's been like, my day's been, I've been on the phone all day with people and that's great. Like, that's what I do, but it's, I can only be on one phone call at a time or one place at a time. So to have that support over the years, and then, now my kids are a little bit older. So I'm roughly about 6 years ahead of you in terms of like when we started our family, but that allowed me to have that time with my family and not go through a divorce and all that sort of stuff. My wife didn't leave me, so for better or for worse on her end, smartly or not smartly on her side, but it allowed me to have a lot of flexibility and also do a lot of cool things with my own career. So I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah, and when I started too, it's funny because Darren was actually at my wedding, and I remember saying there was a point where I was ready to get out, and then I saw this little yellow letter in my box, and it said, "Hey, if you're looking to take your real estate to the next level, I'm gonna give you pretty much the entire roadmap." And it said, "I've already done it for you. You don't have to take you don't have to carve your same path." And I said, "You know what? Let's just give it one last shot." I'm happy I did, man. 6 years, learned so much. Great mentor, everything. And man, I say it all about you all the time, right? So grateful for you. You're grateful for me. We're going to leave it at that because we're not going to try on this podcast. All right.
Well, buddy, I appreciate you. I always always will. Adam's not like being put down like a dog.
Yeah,
I think you're
so this is it. That's a sentiment around the office. Is like everyone's crying that I'm leaving. I'm like, guys, I'm not being put down here. Okay.
We were joking about a Viking funeral.
Yeah.
Something bad on here. So, Adam would love to hear from you.
Totally.
Look him up on social and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I'm actually, we've been talking a lot about this reinvigoration that I've had too, just because I've been living a little bit of a different role and a different life, and looking forward to serving the people that we can help and really cranking that up in different ways. Sure. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And that's that. I think that's it, man. I think unless you're coming back as a guest on the Best of White Rock, or you want to join on a drinks or a real estate on tap,
man, that might happen. We'll see. But thanks for having me on for one last thing. I knew it was important that we had to let our clients know as well too, and this is kind of the perfect medium for it. And just like I said, guys, I'm not being put down. You have my phone number. You've called me over the years. Still happy to hear from you as well. This is buy for now. It's not buy forever.
Yeah.
And that's what I say.
Yeah.
All right. So
I love that. Well, we wish you lots of success, buddy. It's been a true pleasure. And I guess we'll leave it at that for today.
there we go.
All right. Well, I was going to cheers if you drank all your beer.
Instead, we'll do one of these.
All right, brother.
You too.